Nothing like a new day on our Minecraft Let's Play series. Welcome back, everybody, and good morning, Aqua. So we're on episode 15 now, and that's pretty incredible. I did not think we would hit this high of a number. And so just a quick recap of how the series went about. We spawned over there in the top right corner, and then after adventuring this whole ocean for like the past 3 episodes, we eventually settled where that green dot is, right over here. Let's see if I can zoom in with Optifine. Yeah, we built a couple of things around this island, and then eventually kind of moved over here to the mainland where we found a village and started trading with them. And this got us geared up. We mined some netherite, and on the neighboring island we built that windmill, and then we also built a small villager like trading area to this larger island over here, which is kind of shaped like a dragon now that I look at it, which is awesome. But yeah, that's totally unfinished as of right now. So now that we had all that gear and we were pretty much settled here, we then proceeded to do that jungle adventure in the last episode where we explored essentially the entirety of this island. There's the jungle temple right over there, and then the panda island I believe is right there. Yeah, really small on the map, although this is fully zoomed out. So yeah, that's essentially a recap of what this series has, been about. All that to say, we haven't really done a ton of stuff, but, just gotta take it slow and enjoy it. Hopefully this has been a chill series for everyone who's watched, and yeah, I do hope to continue it. Oh yeah, we also built this chicken coop. I totally forgot about that. How are you, Marine? Okay, doesn't want to talk to me. So as you can see, we are back at home on the island, and just real quick as to the problem that I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of chests now. Chests. More chests. Stuff. Even more chests. And as you can imagine, even inside the base, all of these are totally full. And this is a byproduct, as I mentioned, of just doing resource collecting very mindlessly for the past couple months. These chests are everywhere, they're littering the island, and they don't look good. And we still have kind of this crude infrastructure built up here. So in light of this, I think the best way to spend this episode will be to make a new storage room. So back in episode 5, we were building the second part of the base. I don't think we had built that yet, but we were just laying down the smooth sandstone, and we eventually built a small little gaming room back here beneath the loft. And other than storing like tridents, and I guess miscellaneous stuff such as apples, as well as these music discs, this room really serves no purpose. Oh, we also have the remains of our poor friend, the courageous pig that has passed away, and we still have not built a grave for this poor fellow. But in time. But yeah, in short, this room really doesn't have a purpose, so this will now be the stairwell that will lead to the lower level of the base, where I plan to build the storage room. And I will note that this is totally kind of free building. I don't have any template or kind of creative build established, so we're just going to wing it and go from there. Ideally, it's going to be below this, since this does appear to be the lowest level of the base, aside from the enchanting table. But since this is a fairly simple build, it wouldn't be a really heavy lift to relocate this, or even build a second stairwell here that would lead to the lower level. I mean, that's totally fine by me too. Since, yeah, we really don't spend a lot of time in this room, and the view, you can see a little bit, but, it still leaves much to be desired at this point in time. So, yeah. Whether or not we'll include automation in this storage room, I couldn't tell you at the moment, but it just really depends how big we can make this room and how simple it is to really just construct. And I'm thinking probably the first place to start building this, rather than dig out the stairwell, is actually just dig down here, put glass, and then just start building the room from there. I don't know if I want to keep the skylight down, but if there were glass here, that would kind of be cool, although we would need a new location for the Christmas tree. Since we did put it there. Actually, no, I had it in the center originally, then I think it was moved over here. But we can't really use this corner now that there's the brewing stand and, related ingredients, so. All this to say, we're really due for a new expansion of this place. So let's get to it. Alright, we're back and it's the next day, and hopefully you enjoyed that time lapse. I finally figured out how to use the replay mod, and I just thought I'd pop in that surprise. We'll see how much we use it in the future, but yeah, I thought it was a nice kind of intro to it. So as you can see, I was mistaken that the enchanting table was the lowest level of this base because we also have the chicken coop and we have this small little egg collection farm, which is really not efficient, but it does get a couple of things. So in light of this, I'm thinking that this part can more or less become the ceiling, and I was digging up here to see if we can make some extra room or additional secret rooms, but I think that's a bit too ambitious, especially given the scope of this project. So that can hold off for now, and I'll just focus on making this the ceiling and begin to lower this down a bit. I still don't really know how much space we have in terms of going out in that direction as well as that direction, but we'll find out. And yeah, I was able to make that seawall window, and it looks really cool in my opinion. I guess it does look a lot nicer with Optifine. Hopefully in the future I can get Replay Mod and Optifine to work together, but I think that's a bit ambitious at this time since I just learned how to use the Replay Mod. I'll try and keep this area open, and I'm not really sure what exactly we'll put here other than like some crafting tables. And then I'm thinking that the chests can go maybe in a 2-row fashion that way, and also that way. So they'll extend out there and zigzag, and then probably the same for over here, but it really depends kind of on that chicken coop and how much room there is out back that way. I'll go ahead and dig this out since it's going to take a while, and I won't record most of it, but I'll report back once I have kind of a good room in place and I'm ready to start construction on the chests and the storage room itself. Okay, update time. So it's been several hours at this point, and it really took longer than I thought to dig this place out. But as you can see, we were able to fit in automation. It's a tight fit per se, but we were able to do it. By no means is this finished. This is just the crude outline that I have right now. I also decided to remove the enchanting table, and eventually we'll put a much better looking staircase there. And so the thought of putting a staircase here is that you can kind of spiral down and then go here. And what's really nice is that this links up right there, so you have a way down and a way up just in the same pathway. So if you want to go down, grab something, and then come back up, it's a nice little loop. Speaking of loops, so normally I don't like that these just kind of hang out here and just do nothing and are more or less a waste of space. So I wanted to make somewhat of a, I guess, balcony or another loop that gives a little bit more space around the top part so we can, you know, if needed, change things up here and decorate up here accordingly. And it also gives good use for these windows because as they were a bit too tall to really leverage, and so they were just kind of sitting there. And now you can really take advantage of the view, which looks so nice. And it will look even better as we light this up more and more with sea pickles and eventually sea lanterns. But this makes a nice little loop all the way around and then goes into this area. I know this lighting is atrocious, but bear with me for now. I just wanted to keep it lit up as I think of what to, I guess, put here. What I had in mind was some bulk storage, so maybe having chests line up here. This would mainly be used for, say, cobble and stone, very common mining materials, but not things like lapis lazuli or emeralds per se. Those would go in these chambers as well. We're using the basic storage system design, which is just this. And these ones, as you can see, are already ready to go. I just need to add the item. And then this will be conveniently labeled here on the item frames. And so this was also able to be aligned with the skylight, which I thought was pretty nice. The floor, I am not sure. For now, I'll just put smooth sandstone because I really don't have a better idea as to what else we could use other than sand. But I do recall that having sand over here was kind of, I remember it being a little noisy when we were walking. So if you go like this, it was like crunch, crunch, crunch. And I didn't really like that over time. So that's leading me against using sand down here, even though that would be more true to the natural sandstone cave vibe. Other than that, I extended down the very large window just by one, and this view is also really good. Yeah, you can even see the windmill and the barn over there. Really digging this. But yeah, that's where I am at now. I'm not sure where to put the enchanting table. I was thinking of putting it here, but then I realized this is even, so it's not going to work. Another thought is to put it down here, but I need to make sure that this spiral staircase looks way better than it does currently, and ensure that it lines up here. Other than that, yeah, this is the basic framework that I have right now. I guess what I can do is I can get these going, label these, and have the items accordingly. Oh, right. And I was thinking of linking a drop chest somewhere up here, currently where the cobble and basic mining materials are. So maybe one of these chests or something right here. That way we could sort just upon returning from an adventure, just going down here and then dumping it and then going back out. But yeah, that'll link up here, and the items will be carried in the top row of hoppers. Then I'll have like the spillover chest somewhere over here. But yeah, that's where this is at. I tried to keep this corner a little bit natural in terms of the overall cave geometry. I somewhat like the dripping water there, but I'm not sold as to whether or not I want to keep that. Oh, and here's another window. I'll probably extend this down one more, since, yeah, it's a little hard to look out. You can't quite make out the sea temple, unfortunately, but you can see the raft, which will become important in the next episode, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's where this is. I'll try and polish it up. It's probably going to take a lot of time to do details and stuff, so I don't know if I'm going to finish it in the episode, but yeah, there's that. And so one other thing before I get to building again, it is actually past our 1-year anniversary on this world. Time flies. I can't believe that. But yeah, all that to say, thank you so much for sticking with me this long if you have, and if you're new, welcome. And yeah, here's to many more adventures on this world. Another time lapse. So to avoid making the floor terribly dull and monotonous, I wanted to incorporate a little bit of lighting. This was a bit tricky since I had to maintain the even spacing of the build, but was able to make it work in the end. Something I like to do with the storage room walkway is to incorporate a couple of different blocks into the floor. Since this area is pretty frequently visited, I wanted to add this extra detail to give the space a little bit more pop. I wanted to experiment with adding water patterns using stairs, as this really gave a nice contrast with the smooth sandstone palette. Originally, I planned to keep it in 2 simple rows, but I wanted to polish and push my building abilities a little bit and go for an asymmetric pattern while still maintaining continuity of this water stream in the walkway. I think it turned out pretty well in the end. I then went about replacing all the floor blocks with smooth sandstone and incorporated lantern lighting into the walls. I also added some patterns near the spiral staircase area, with some added redstone lamps here and there, and then went about clearing the rest of the floor. Overall, it's a little plain, but I think for the most part it serves our purposes really well. The slime blocks you see placed there are just meant to be placeholders for chests. I'm not going to do this on camera since it's more or less just stacking a bunch of chests and moving items, so that's what those are. Alright, time for the final update of this episode. So I redid this spiral staircase a little bit, and it looks a little weird. Okay, not a little bit, but pretty weird I would say, because it has to bridge that in order to not hit my head there. But this is something I can definitely work on at a later time. I added these small shelves to the spiral staircase area, so just something for future decoration. Same here, really didn't do much other than add the painting, clean it up a little bit on the edges. Overall, it's just gonna, I don't know, not have a purpose right now, but it can be an area that we'll find a use for over time. Just added a couple of wooden support pillars all around the area to make this look a little bit more supported. Filled this in with water. I think this looks pretty good overall. Just really liking the blue against this block color. And then finally over here, I did add all the chests. Unfortunately, I was not able to add automation to the backs of these because it was interfering with the redstone here. These were sending the signal to the repeater, thereby causing the sorter to not work. So that's where those stand as of right now. Ultimately, it would be really nice to have bulk storage for, say, cobble, stone, and all these common materials in the future, but given the scope of this project and how long it really took, we're just gonna have to leave it as is for now, since it does serve our purpose, and we were able to clear out all the chests on the surface. Over here, I added a little bit of detail in the form of the water, because this will be a secret passageway up and down, as to quickly get to the bulk materials. And then over here, we just have overflow storage of more or less random items such as black stone, or say for example netherrack. Mostly nether themed items here, but certainly more room to expand over here. The room is lacking in details, but that's definitely something we can do in another episode, and I just realized I forgot to strip that. Yeah, and I'm just really pleased that we were able to build all of this in a week's worth of time. So I did mention earlier on in the video that I would like to get to this raft in the next episode, but given that I would like to touch up a few things, and also that Halloween is right around the corner, so I really do want to capture more of those pumpkin mobs, since we do have a couple of them trapped over there, and I was never able to get the skeleton, I think. Or was it the zombie? I can't recall, but it was basically a disaster. But yeah, this area's totally cleaned up now, save for, I guess, the working station over there, but we'll get to that in a future episode. But in any case, I better move before this fellow gets me. In any case, thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure, and I hope to catch you in the next episode. Take care, bye for now, have a good one.